Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be installing Logstash and configuring it so that I can send the syslogs of my firewall to Elasticsearch. In a previous video, this is part 2 of another video where I installed Elasticsearch and Kibana and configured them. I will post the link of that video in the description. Now we need to send the data to Elasticsearch from my firewall. So I'll show you first my setup here. So last time I installed Elasticsearch and Kibana, got them to talk to each other. And now we need to send FortiGate syslogs to Logstash, do some filtering here, and then send them to Elasticsearch to be able to be indexed. So right here on their website, you can look at the Logstash introduction. It's basically an open source data collection engine, and I'm going to use Logstash so that I am able to do something like enriching the data with, for example, GUIP locations. I'm going to be doing that later on. If we go to getting started with Logstash, it tells us we need Java, and for that you need Java 11 or Java 17 using JDK 17. So I want to open JDK, to installing here at the top, and I have Oracle Linux. So I ran the command yum install java 1.8.0-openjdk, and this is my server here. I already ran this command. I installed Java. It should not do anything right now. Okay, nothing to do. I'm gonna go back to Logstash documentation here. Installing Logstash, I'm gonna be using the yum repository. So I'm gonna be downloading and installing this public signing key. Just copy paste this command, and I will now create a file in this repository called logstash.repo. Oh, and I have this from before. So basically I just copied, pasted this information here, and all I have to do is say yum install Logstash. Yum install Logstash. And it will start installing right now. So I'm going to go to my firewall, log in, and see how to set up the syslog. Open command prompt from here, config log syslog, and with FortiGates you can install, or you can set up 4 syslog servers. Just gonna use the first one, and I have those settings ready. Status enable server, the IP address of the syslog server. In my case, it's going to be the Logstash server, and the port we are sending to 5144. And if we look at the full configuration here, you can see all the other default values. For example, the format is still a default. You can use other formats, CSV or CEF or RFC 5424, but I'm just going to keep it on the default format. Okay, let's see where it is at, and it is finished. We're gonna jump right away to the configuration file now. So nano etc logstash confd, and I'm gonna firewall.conf. This is from before, so I'm gonna say this time FortiGate.conf. Okay, and with Logstash we have 3 main components of the configuration files: the input plugin, before the output filter plugin, and the output plugin. So input is where the data is coming from. Filter is where you add filters to basically customize how the data looks. and then output, send it to wherever you want. In our case, to Elasticsearch. So I'm going to start with the input, and I'm going to open the documentation. Here we can see the input plugins. We have many input plugins. File, I worked with this one, and I'm going to go to the UDP input plugin. So read messages as events over the network via UDP. And the settings here, I'm going to use the host and the port. The host and the port. And so it's a UDP plugin. The spacing is very important here. Host. And this is where you put the IP of Logstash. So basically the IP that Logstash listens on. And then port, I'm just going to do 5144. 514 is the default, the syslog port. But if you're going to use any port under 1024 or the main or the well-known ports, I think you're going to have to give Logstash admin privileges or something like that. So I'm going to use 5144. And this is basically it for the input plugin. Now filter, before we do any filters, I'm just going to look at the data first. And we need to add something to the output. Right now, we're not going to send to Elasticsearch. We want to parse it first. So to start testing, I'm going to send the output to the shell. Just basically to this console right here, std out. And that's all I have to do. And something very important, because we are listening on this port, 5144, we have to enable it. I'm going to say yes here to FortiGate.conf. And I opened this port already. Firewall cmd --list all. And I opened this port. So this is important here as well. And to run Logstash, we're going to go here, Logstash, and -f to specify the file, Logstash conf and FortiGate.conf. Okay, it takes a few seconds. Now we're going to be seeing all this data coming from the firewall, not parse, not anything. So see this message here? This is what we're going to be working with. We're going to grab this message and we're going to start filtering now. We're going to work on the filters. The first filter I'm going to use is the Grok filter. So you go to the filter plugins, and where's the Grok filter? Grok filter, a quick description here: parse arbitrary text and structure it. And you can open Grok debuggers online. I did this before, so I basically copy pasted this message, whatever you have from here. For example, this whole message, this is what we need to filter, or what we need to find the pattern of. So it's basically in this format, percentage, open bracket, and we can see here this number. This is the syslog 5424 priority, and then percentage greedy data, and we put them in a field called message. So now we kind of parsed it a little bit, and now we will work with this message. Okay. And before I run, I'm gonna run this command with -r to reload the configurations automatically. And I'm gonna duplicate this session, bring it here, root I'm going to open the configuration file on this side, FortiGate, and now I'm going to be adding the filters, and I'll save the file and it will reload on this side automatically. So the first one we said was the Grok filter. I'm going to copy paste from, okay, so double space is important. I'm going to copy paste from the document here on the lab. So Grok, just follow documentation how the format of this filter works. Okay, so Grok match and then message, and then you'll put the pattern in. So message, and then this is the pattern, and then we're going to override the message. This message is right here. I'm gonna save, see how that looks. So now it's reloading automatically. We won't be able to see much here, but it's better than before. We don't have, this is the event original, the message. I have to catch it. Okay, we're just gonna continue building on the filters. The next one I'm gonna do is mutate. I don't want to see all these original events and logs and the version of the whole of the basically of the event of the log. And timestamp, this is the time that the event got ingested in Logstash, not the event that we need actually, which is here of the event itself. So I'm going to remove those fields, we don't need them. Control F, save. Let's see how it looks now. So a little cleaner. Now we see only the message. So we see the message, it does not have that syslog priority value here. And now we're gonna grab this message, or we're not gonna grab it anyway, we're just gonna add another filter that will parse each and every field by itself. And for that, we're gonna use a filter plugin called KV. And we're doing a field split on the space. So between every field, you see field, and then its value, and then space, and then another field, and then its value, and then space. So this is what will help us parse those fields. So Control X, save, yes. It will reload. And now look at this. We are seeing the fields parsed, but we're still seeing the main message here. So we're going to remove it because we parsed them. They are individual fields. Okay. We're going to do another mutate filter and remove that message. Now we're going to do something else. So we're going to remove this message, the big chunky message, and then we're going to add a filter, or we're going to add a field, sorry. We're going to call this field log date, and we're going to put the value of date, space, and time, because you see those date and time. If I find them here, in the first line of this message, date, space, time. In Elasticsearch, you need that at timestamp. You need something like this, but generated from the field values themselves to be able to ingest them and index them in Elasticsearch. So we're going to do that first, or we're going to do that next. So this is a step ahead. I'm going to save that. So reload. And now we have those clean fields without that big message. Okay, and now the last filter, plugin is the date one. So we added this field from previous step. We call it log date. It has the values of date and time. And then we're matching we're looking at this log date. We say convert it to this format, year, month, day, and then hour, minutes, seconds. We can set the time zone to convert the time zone to our time zone, and then the target is at timestamp. We need this field to ingest our data into Elasticsearch. So let's see what happens now. And I want to catch it from the top to be able to see. I'm going to stop it for a bit and look at that new timestamp field. So this timestamp field is made from this field, time, and this field, date. Now we don't need date, we don't need time, and definitely not this log date that we created just to create this timestamp. So another filter, one more filter at the end to say, I'm going to keep this running. To say remove log date, date, and time. And we're also going to convert received bytes and sent bytes to integer type, because we will be able to do mathematical calculations on those. If it's a string, we can't add string with a string. Now, sent bytes and received bytes are integers. And we can see timestamp, and we don't see time and date anymore. Now, this is much cleaner than before. We are able to send those to Elasticsearch. To do that, we're going to go to the output plugin now. And we're going to say Elasticsearch. I'll show you the output plugin and the documentation. So with Elasticsearch here, so we're sending the data to Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch, this plugin, output plugin, provides near real-time search and analytics for all types of data. So we're just sending to Elasticsearch, and there are many options and settings here. But what I'm going to use is the following. Right. I don't want to copy anything wrong. Okay, so hosts, which is the Elasticsearch host with HTTPS, because we're gonna use the cert, CA cert. So the index, we're gonna save them in an index called Firewall. You can keep it as Firewall, but I added the date of today, and then user and password. It's a very secure password, I know. And then we're enabling SSL. I'm saying this is the CA cert. This is closing the brackets for Elasticsearch. And now, should we comment this out as std out? No, we'll keep it so that we can make sure that the data is still running. We're gonna save. Yes, but it will not send right away because we need to copy the cert from the Elasticsearch node or from the CA. I'm just gonna say yes. So it's still outputting to the console here, but not going to Elasticsearch because we need to copy that cert. And this is my Elasticsearch node, SCP, etc. Elasticsearch certs http_ca, and we're sending it to 192.168.25, and let's see, Logstash. Oh, that's correct. Oh, I did this before. History. Grab SCP. I'm just gonna copy this. No, maybe the one before. recipe. Okay, host verification failed. Oh, because I have to no hosts. Somehow I need to remove this key from here. Now copy again. Are you sure? Yes. Password. Now this cert is added. This reloaded. It's still going. Let us log in to Kibana with my very secure password. And let's look at, we'll go here, management, stack management, index management, and see if we have a firewall index, and we sure do. Those are from yesterday and before yesterday, and this is the new index. Let's reload documents 46. The size is increasing here. And to look at the data, we will go to data views, and oh, I already added the data view. So you can create data view and put a name here that will match the index, and then we can go to discover, and we can see the data coming in from the firewall. Let me see, when was the last time before I broke it. Oh, that was yesterday. I'll go back to the last 15 minutes. Let's stream the data live. Every 10 seconds, let's say apply. And now we can see our data coming in from the firewall. You can look at each document. In Elasticsearch, they call it document. It's the same as event, the same as a log. We're looking at this document. It is ping, media player, I don't know, destination IP. So now you can look at your data, visualize the data, build dashboards. I'll do another video of some examples of building a dashboard. And this is basically how you configure Logstash to send the data. I'm gonna stop this right here. Oh, actually, I stopped it. And now the data will stop streaming into. I need to do another thing here. I don't want it to stream to the shell, so I'm going to comment this out. And I'm going to run from either one. I'm going to run Logstash as a service. Start Logstash. And hopefully this does not break. It shouldn't break. Status Logstash service. Now after I started the Logstash service, it stopped logging in Kibana. I fixed it, but it stopped logging, and the reason was I needed to give permission to the certificate. I'll show you what permissions I gave it. Logstash. So this is the certificate I copied over, and I gave it 660. So change mod or chmod 660, and this command, this file. And also I gave Logstash user permission, also change owner like this, root Logstash, and the same file. Okay, and after that I started the service and it worked. It worked again. So there's a lot of troubleshooting while doing this, but hopefully this video was informative and it helped you configure Logstash. You can use it to ingest data from basically anything. And this is my data running and ingesting. It's coming into Elasticsearch. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.